Hello and welcome to the Pioneers of the Great Awakening, where we have beautiful people from all walks of life come tell us their story of their journey, their hero's journey, how they went into the darkness and found themselves, found love, found a boon, found their treasure, their gifts, and how they made it without out of the darkness, and how they're giving those gifts to the world as service right now. And I am your host, Epiphanio. And today we have this amazing guest, Maria Teresa Frezet, and she is a life alignment practitioner using the way of simplicity in her energy emotional balancing work with individuals and groups for guiding them to make peace with their emotions and recognize the value of their uniqueness. Maria is a Gene Keys guide and a translator, and she proofread the translation into Italian of the Gene Keys book Le Chiavi Génétique. Along with her life partner, they created Thanks Attitude, a path of awareness based on gratitude as a consequence of an expanded view of life, and offer dedicated 3 days retreats named With Us for a single person or couple on the topic they wish to work on using all the tools they have acquired over time. Hello, Maria. Pleasure to have you in the podcast.
Thank you. Hello, Epiphanio. It was so nice from you to invite me in your podcast. Thanks a lot.
Beautiful, beautiful. To tell us something interesting about yourself that most people don't know about.
Okay. So, as you said, I am a bit of many things. I, I am a life alignment practitioner, a Gene Keys guide, and I've always been a very, very curious child since I was a child. Curiosity about how we work. So I never really accepted the explanation of that you get from it is like this. No, no, no. I've always liked to explore many sides, and this is why I am always open and curious to go inside. I am in Italy, first of all. So, okay, I speak English, but of course, it's not my mother language, so I might not be super fluent always as if I was speaking Italian. What can I say? Well, I've been in my life. Has been a nice life, but with so far, I am 61 now, but with quite big challenges at some points in life. Really, wow, big shock. And now that I know my gene keys a bit more, for instance, I have got twice this gene key 51, which really is about shock, you know. So evolving through shock or bringing shock, which can be also small shock, maybe a word that I say to somebody and like, open some spaces. But also for myself, wow, the biggest challenges I've gone through definitely have been the loss of people. So when I was a child, I am the first child. I lost a sister and a brother. So they were younger than me. Well, the sister she died when she was born, actually, but the brother was 5 years old. And it was really, really, really tough. But over time, I understood that this was okay, let's call it a big test to start with. But uh, because I am curious and able to go inside and to explore the deepness of suffering, all this over time was fantastic because it really helped me to overcome and to transmute. Then another big loss in more recent time was my separation from my husband. So it was not a loss because he is still alive, but this ending of this relationship 15 years ago was really, really, really tough. Really, wow. Big suffering. But also in that occasion, I could, even if it took time, of course, I could get some tools, that so-called tools that I had um, um, through my experience when I was a child of losing, of having to facing death. Okay, so I in even if it was tough and I was suffering, I could really feel that inside there was this basis, that I had built over time when I was younger, and that I could count on that. And then, so that was one thing. But the other thing that that has always been with me, thank God or thank life or whatever, is this basis of joy, because joy is always there, even in the suffering. Maybe, okay, you get the clouds of the suffering, and it takes time and tears and whatever, but joy is always there. So when I look at my childhood, although I went through these big experiences of challenging experiences of losing my brother and sister, my feeling is joy, also because I grew up in the mountains, so in a village. So I am a mountain girl, basically, although I live at the seaside now.
Wow, mountain, seaside, beautiful. So tell us, Maria, what was your fork in the road where your life kind of split into two timelines? The moment that ended up sending you in this direction of, exploring, expanding that curiosity like further into, like, all these subjects, like eventually now you got into gene keys and all of this stuff you're
Yeah.
doing. But what was that moment when that happened? What happened that
Oh,
sent you on
well,
this direction?
well, to be honest, I can't really spot that moment. Probably it was already present before I came to this world, because it was not through something. It was not like I was before in one way and then in another way. So I kind of arrived on this earth with this attitude, let's say. But so I would rather say that there was some important points that, okay, stabilized or helped me to recognize who I already am. No, so it was more a recognition, let's
And
say.
what were those poems? What happened?
Oh, but very simple things. For instance, now that you ask me this, I can think about an episode of when I was a child, like 8 years old. As I said, I grew up in this village, so we were. When I say village, it was really small. In the school, in the what we call scuola elementare, elementary school, which first 5 years, we were 16 children in the whole school, not one classroom.
Wow!
so
Wow!
so
Oh,
imagine this
nice.
mini world where all the children were super free with a bicycle. We used to play, go away in the afternoon and say, okay, we'll be back for dinner, and parents were not worried at all. So in this mini world,
Nice.
at one point I remember this episode of a of uh, somebody saying, okay, now there are two groups, two bands. I don't know how you say it in English, but in Italian, due bande. Okay, so 16 children. There was somebody who said, no, now we are two groups, and now so Maria Teresa must decide where you want to stay. And I really remember myself saying, but why do I want? Do I have to choose? I like people from both sides.
Wow.
No, I remember this episode, for instance, saying, "Oh no, it's not. It does not resonate with me, this division." Which doesn't mean that I like everybody, but no,
I
I
know in
didn't.
that moment, yes, it's like
Yeah,
I'm all of them. I want to be all of them. I don't want to play this separation game.
yeah. And then maybe another in more recent time, let's say, a spontaneous practice that I did to help myself in this separation from my husband was to go deep. So in each morning after that happened, I was, quite sad, and I went into the suffering, and I really said to myself, okay, which part of me is this situation showing? So why have I co-created this situation? What am I feeling in that specific moment? It was a kind of being refused, no, or abandoned or refused. So I said, okay, dear Maria Teresa, where have you experienced that? It's not new. You must have experienced that at some other point in your life, in childhood. So I went into all the moments that I could remember where I had experienced that, because
that rejection.
The rejection, exactly. So, and then when I spotted one, even, things that now that I am a grown up, I laugh at that. For instance, when I was a child, I remember when I was 5, and my cousins, I had 2 cousins, they were 10 and 12, and I always wanted to go with them. But of course, at some point,
yes.
At some point they said, okay, go and pick up your jumper, we wait for you downstairs. And then I went down and they had gone. So oh my God.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. But so of course it's funny, and
yes,
now we can understand that to teenagers, they don't really want
no, it's like, oh my God, the world is falling apart. Yeah, I know.
but it means that I had felt this rejection. So I, because as a grown up, I was feeling the same. So I was trying to remember all the moments where I had felt that. And then when I spotted one, like this situation, I kind of observed it from a larger perspective, saying, okay, did they really want to harm me? No. Probably because I was asking questions all the time, because I was a curious child. So they didn't really want a child with them. So I allowed myself to feel the rejection, but at the same time, I was able to take care of the adult Maria Teresa was able to take care of this child, and to let the feeling be transformed. So this was very, very a practice that I did spontaneously, and that was really, really fantastic and useful.
It's incredibly useful. Absolutely. Yes. Go ahead.
Sorry. Now that I remember, there was another fork, right? So that happened. Okay, separation first. This process of that I just told about, and then I don't know. Let's say 6 months later, more or less. Of course, I had been working on myself. I've always been working on myself, and in that specific moment, I was working with somebody who was telling me that this thing that all what we create is a reflection of what we are, this mirror effect. So it was an intellectual concept that I said, okay, but it was not cellular. And at some point, when I was doing the cleaning the house, so doing absolutely something else, I was not with the mind, not concentrated. I experienced this. I don't know how to explain, but like an eagle eagle view, no? Like boom. So yeah, so I was seeing the bigger picture. So I was there, and at the same time I said, ah, now I understand. This, wow. And it was just in that occasion, just for a few, what, I don't know, 1 minute, whatever, and then boom, I came back to the something more restricted, and then 1 week later it came back, and now it's my way of being. So it was I don't know how to call it, but it was something that happened on a cellular level. First intellectual, but cellular is completely another thing.
Yeah, you suddenly realize the whole big picture for a moment, and now you have that access to that. That's definitely a fork in the road. I mean, that absolutely changed your perspective of everything. Which line do you have on your core one on your vocation?
Vocation line 5, 64, line 5.
Yeah. So what was your worst, deepest, darkest moment in your life on your journey? The deepest, most hardest, most difficult moment that you really had to actually, like, something had to, there was an internal thing that needed to change in order for you to move forward.
Well, it's always that one, this separation, because although I knew that nothing happens by chance. I mean, it's always a logical consequence, no? But it's really, because I am for me, my tribe, my family is very important. But I need to be
Everything
fine with my tribe, not at any cost. So of course there was now that I can see that at that time we took two different ways. And actually, because I have this gene key of the shock, of course, all of this did happened yeah, exactly. So not in a smooth way. No. I tell you this: we had a hotel in the mountains. Okay, so middle of the winter season, so the hotel was full of people, 33 people, in February, and yeah, I went to. It was the night of the 23rd of February. I went to bed. Before going to bed, I passed in front of my husband, which, by the way, is a person that I still love. So, okay. But I had the feeling that I was like a transparent, no, invisible. Okay, and I thought, I said to myself, no, I cannot get old with somebody who doesn't see me. It was one of those moments where you think and everything is aligned like a sword. Okay, we went to bed. 2 o'clock in the morning, we had a fire in the hotel because yes, thank God nobody was harmed. I mean, but it was a mess, and we had to gather all the people, and okay, it was really, really, really shocking, but really incredible. So it was now that I see it from a wider perspective, life saying, okay, now you understand, you have understood the message, you have other things to do with somebody else. Now, boom, you have to split. Wow.
So you just got it like that, like this is it, like this is the end of the universe talking to me. I know it, and then you listen to that and just went for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
From that night, of course, then during the fire, the fire itself, it was not. I mean, it extinguished on its own, but the smoke was a mess. We had to close the hotel, blah blah blah. But from that night, we never ever lived together anymore. I mean, I was living in a hotel, in an apartment not so far. Of course, we have two children now; they are grown up. But at the time, they were teenagers. So, but incredible. So, like, a deep understanding, boom, situation changed completely.
Wow. So what would you say, what lesson did you learn at that moment?
I learned that we are absolutely the creator of our reality, even if we don't, maybe we don't understand it, we don't always understand when we experience something, it's not that so clear, but uh, if we trust really in life, is definitely we create what we have inside. And only now, for instance, I'm helping my daughter with all this experience that I have. She is 28. She just split with a boyfriend right now. So I'm really bringing my experience, although it's my experience, but saying trust that you will understand with the you need time and space, but from a wider perspective, you will understand exactly why things happened in some moment. So,
Trusting, gotcha,
so
that it will
that's
happen.
yeah, so that's the lesson number one. And then starting from that, say, okay, now that I have experienced also dysfunctional relationship somehow with dysfunctional, I mean with love, because a relationship, in for instance in my case, I have twice the 44, by the way, also in attraction also, so
Interference.
interference. So if you don't really recognize your uniqueness, then you create some dysfunctional, no, at different levels of dysfunctionality, can be more or less, of course, but now that I understand, I recognize more and more my uniqueness, and now I have a new partner, new husband. It's completely another story, completely. I mean, basically the kind of person is the same, because I attract this kind of personality, you know, a bit fiery, a bit, but completely another story.
So it's like the
And
same energy, but more expanded,
yeah,
more aware, more high frequency.
yeah. And my husband has done the same for his own, so his personal path, and with the challenges and with understanding, with opening. So when we met, we already met, you know, on the same level, which doesn't mean that we didn't have challenges, because we did, but now it's more and more aligned. It's kind of magic, actually, but it's not magic, it's just a, a logical.
It
I
is. It's
mean,
auto magical. You know, love is always
yeah,
magic. You
yeah.
know. So, what keeps you up at night? What troubles you, Maria?
Okay. Well, sometimes uncertainty about, you know, where the world is going. If I don't pay attention, I get a little bit caught, because at night, you know, everything seems more terrific, you know, than during the day. Usually I sleep well. I mean, I am fine, but if I pay very much attention not to feed myself with the bad news, or you know, low frequency information. Yeah, I have become definitely much more selective over
About
time.
what you put there, you know, otherwise you get
Oh yeah,
affected by the news and stuff like that. Because there's always something strange and
yeah, yeah,
weird
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
low
Even
frequency going on in the world.
exactly, even films. I don't want to watch anything that is disturbing, or that is putting low vibes.
Gotcha.
A big present of the age, I think, is really that you become selective and say this yes, this no.
Change the channel. Like
We
there's
don't.
so many choices now.
We don't even have TV, by the way. So we have a screen connected to Netflix, but that's it. It's not a. We don't watch TV, news, and nothing.
Yes, I
Anyway.
totally understand. As you know, I'm basically what I'm getting is that you are an empath, so you're actively like more aware of more subtle realities and frequency, and that happens a lot to us if we don't learn how to turn that on and off. We just take all of that energy because we're connected to the universe. So it's we are one with everything, and if it's low frequency, it really like kind of like takes you down.
Absolutely. And I think
Absolutely.
it's so important for our well-being, but also for the whole. For the whole, I mean, humanity in a larger conception. What we put in the matrix, because in this invisible field that we don't see, we consider it's empty, but it's not. So the legacy that we leave also for,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
it's whatever our attention is contributing to the manifestation of the global reality. You know, where are we
my
putting our
God.
attention? How are we contributing to it? You know, you don't
Oh
want to
yeah,
put more energy, more fire into the fire low frequency. Instead of that, you know, put your attention high
exactly.
frequency. You're broadcasting high frequency vibration.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, what is your vision for humanity's future?
It's a good vision, in spite of what is apparently going on. No, I've always had a feeling, because it's not a mental vision. Oh, it is, but it's not. I mean, the mental vision is fed by the something that's start is
Spiritual.
from a spirit, from another level. I don't know, from a cellular knowledge. I don't know, something like this. So it's absolutely there's trust, but trust, because I have this feeling that we are going in a super good direction. I don't know
Well,
how much time this can take.
tell us a little bit about that direction. What do you see?
Well, it basically, I see what I experience, because, for instance, now we are in this place, which is the new, completely new. So we didn't know anybody here, and we are attracting similar people. So wherever we go, because we go with this, basically with this attitude of opening, openness, and we attract people. I attracted you. I mean, you just contacted, and I said, oh, I have a good feeling about it. Oh, let's do that. you know. So it's I see more and more of this happening on, individuals attracting individuals, then more people together, creating small groups, and expanding like this. So starting from the individual. This is why I put so much emphasis on the uniqueness,
Absolutely,
because
yes. Absolutely. I'm totally with you on that one. And that's it. It all starts from your work inward, you know, like you be able to perceive and vibrate at that level. And then you're broadcasting that signal automatically. That's going to bring that because it's
yeah,
the same, it's matching the frequency. And that is the
yeah,
future coming in
yeah.
from the individual. I'm on the same track as you. Absolutely. So, what are you doing right now to contribute to this vision, Maria?
Okay, so I basically I live every day in a. When I look at myself, there is there is a continuity from as I was as a child. So I've never changed. I'm always in touch with this essence of my child. Of course, there is the experience, all what I was telling before, the suffering, the transformation, da, da, da. But basically, my also because I, as I said, I've met a partner where we vibrate together, and we bring together we also have fun. We, like children, in a very ordinary way. We don't need to do extraordinary things. Also, if I speak about myself, I don't need. I'm happy with where I am, what I do, the food I cook. So my dog, lots of ordinary things. So I would say what I really do is to honor ordinariness of life.
Yeah.
And have fun because that's so important.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Because I do believe the same thing. Like the greatest things of life are just, kind of honed down into what's real. I mean, some people enjoy these big things, but, you find that, yes, if it has joy, if it has love, then it is fun, and it could
Yeah,
be the little things or it could be big things, but you could have big things without love and joy. You don't have nothing. It's
exactly.
awful.
Yeah, exactly. And so I
Have
take every
fun.
day like as it comes, and basic mostly is with nice things. So I.
Beautiful. That sounds beautiful. Yes, and the coast of Italy, by the sea. I mean, like it doesn't get better than that. So, what
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you think, Maria Teresa? What do you think that we can do to inspire unity among the different groups of the awakening movement?
Hmm. To inspire is well, it's just a. Mm, I hope that, for instance, with this podcast, I can inspire people just to be who they are. It's so simple. This is why I call what I do the way of simplicity, la via della semplicità. Not because I want to give a name, but because it is. Simple doesn't mean easy, but simple for sure. And simple is really to be what we are. So it's so simple that our mind said, no, 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 can't be so simple. But
You're
it
making
is.
complicated. Yes, I know.
But it is. So to I hope I can pass to people, to inspire people, simply to be what they are. It, uh, honestly, it's so simple. Also because you know what, I had two I consider in my life two big teachers that I had. My grandmother, mother of my father, I have the same name, Maria Teresa, and my great grandmother from my mother's side. They were both mountain women. Especially my great grandmother, she spent all her life in a village. She went once to Torino, which was a big town, just to have an operation for the eyes. She never saw for instance, the seaside, so she spent all her life there, and she was amazing. I knew her. Well, she died when I was 6. I remember her wearing her traditional costume, also, by the way, all her life. Traditional costume for women of the mountains, and really being connected to life totally. So no anxiousness, nothing, no stress, nothing. So I said, wow, if I come from that DNA, it must be. So I ask my DNA to vibrate or to connect or to expand with, because I come from there. I'm compared to her, I am more anxious, and because I have a more anxious nature. Anxious not because of fear usually, but because of my mind is too quick. I would like to do 10 things at the same time. Exactly. Typical of women. But I come from that kind of deep deeply rooted, trust in the flow of life, which I think, wow,
Absolutely.
it's a big, big, big gift. And my grandmother was the same. So, wow.
The trust in life. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Trust that it's working. Absolutely. What is your favorite quote?
Um, Wait a minute. I have it in um, the one of, I think, Osho, that I had it on my WhatsApp state. Now I've changed. Um, Aspetta, ognuno è pronto. Aspetta. Everyone can only see what he is ready for. Ognuno può vedere solo ciò per cui è pronto. Which is true.
Oh, it's true.
Totally true. And oh yeah, another thing I've learned is to not to waste energy and words and energy basically in convincing people. I used to do that. I used to do that
Yeah.
because I am enthusiastic basically. So whenever I found that there was something good to effective to do, I was saying to everybody, "Oh, you should do this." Da, da, da. And now, no.
Nice.
I'm
Yes.
learning to spare time and energy just for when it is where it is required. Also because I am a
Right.
projector. If we talk about human design, I am a projector, so I need to really to honor the invitation.
Mm.
When I'm invited, fantastic. If
Yes.
not,
Yes.
I do my things and well, I'm fine.
Yes. It's so true. Allowing, you realize that nothing's wrong in the universe and everybody's where they have to be and, deal with what they have to deal with for as long as they have to. And it's like, you're
Oh yeah,
never going to change anybody. The only thing you can do is just express yourself, and whoever is ready will hear the vibration and take it. It's like
exactly,
we're just putting food on the table. We can't force feed people, and nobody wants
exactly.
that. We wouldn't want that to be done to us. So we make the food, we put it on the table, and then people sit, eat, or
Yeah,
stand up
yeah,
and go, and then that is a real healthy, loving way of connecting and interacting with people, just giving, sharing,
yeah.
and it's
But
I yes, and I think that it's beautiful also to the point that everybody can actually do that from all these different points of view on the table and have
yeah,
the maturity to disagree and say, well, maybe I don't see that, but that's okay for you,
yeah,
you know?
exactly. Of course, it's not always easy with for instance, children or partner or parents. So
That's
that's
right.
the
It's always a challenge.
my God, to my children, now they are grown up, but so many times I said, "Oh no, you should do this. You should do this constellation." So my son was coming, okay, really being bored totally and not being. Now I have stopped. I'm just learning. So for the people who are listening, don't worry. It takes time to learn that, but when you start to understand that it's really it doesn't make sense to spend energy where it is not when a person is not ready, or because she has to do another experience. So
Yes, yes. We don't know exactly what the other person needs. Maybe they need something really heavy, and you're like, "Don't go there,
exactly,
you're gonna fall." And I'm like, "My spirit is taking me there because I need to learn because of the fall." Just like we fall in our
exactly,
lives, and then we get up, and I'm like, "Don't go there." But no, nothing else
exactly,
would have taught us that but life. You know.
exactly.
Absolutely. So, Maria, tell us about what you're doing. Tell us about these things attitude, and tell us the with us and your life alignment practicing, the way of
Yeah,
simplicity. By the way, you have Gene Key 23, because that's
no,
the complexity, simplicity, but you've observed that one. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, because it makes me think about the way of simply tell us about all these things we're doing, and the translation of the gene keys, so that people can actually find you. Where can they find you? What do you have to offer? And then we're gonna have all the links and the social media, all of that stuff in the page, so that you can actually contact Maria Teresa and get to learn from what she's going to tell us about all of this stuff you're doing.
So just to say, I don't have a Gene Key 23, but in the Pearl, I have line 1, which is simplicity. So it's really, voila. So I started, let's say, to train in the world of subtle energy with this life alignment technique, which is basically a technique that you can use for many, many things. So the typical thing is an emotional balancing with one person on a special issue. And you can, through this technique, you test some keywords, and then you use to rebalance some magnets with the frequency of life alignment. It is something that, by the way, you can do in person, which is obviously nice, but online it doesn't change. I mean, it's effective and the same, because this is the proof that we live in a field of information, so full of information, which is connecting exactly me and you from one continent to another right now, for instance. But so it is. And so I started with this technique in 2008. And it's something nice because you can really bring harmony in a gentle way in lots of things. On a project, you can work with a group of harmonizing a group of people. It's always very interactive, because it's not just receiving like Reiki, for instance. It's interactive because I bring the person, I test some words and for instance, the keywords, and a kind of a story comes up in the person. Maybe a date, something which is priority in that moment for the person. So on the individual, I work like this. And by the way, life alignment, it's also a technique to rebalance, for instance, a business alignment. So the whole company is basically a family, no? With people bringing their issues, and it's not by chance that they come together. There is always, a logical frequency that bring people together. Or you can use it to harmonize and do a balancing on a space, a house, for instance, because a house is like a person with many emotional issues that are stuck in this, what we call the crystalline grid, this invisible grid that we were talking about. So a lot of application with this technique. So I started to do this, and then I met Roberto, who's my partner, my husband. And the funny thing is that as soon as we met, well, we are basically very friends. We have a basis of friendship, really. But as soon as we met, I mean 2 months later or 1 month later, while I was doing completely other things, I received, literally one morning, so like boom, I received this thanks attitude, these 2 words, and the image of somebody saying thanks, and the contraction of the 2 words, because basically we called it TAT, see, the first 3 letters of thanks and the first letter of attitude. And when I received that one morning, then Roberto comes to me, to my apartment, and I said, hey, you know what? This morning I received that. How does it resonate to you? And he's the pure generator, I said, oh, wow. Oh, yeah. So this response from the belly. And it started to download. So he had the, wow. And then he started to download material. So, and after a while, it organically organized in 4 levels. Okay, the first level is so it's based on the gratitude as a consequence of this larger view, where you really see that life or the other is a mirror showing you parts of yourself. So the first level is the thanks that you say to your parents when you understand that the issues that you have with them is something that is concerning you, so it's something resonating with you. Now I make it super simple, of course. Then the second level is the couple. So the partner is the one who is like a trainer, personal trainer. So what
That's right. Yes.
what you, if you haven't really understood the message from the parents, then the partner comes, and after a while you say, oh wow, he is like my father or like my mother, like
That's right.
okay,
Yes.
fantastic. Then the third level is ourselves. So once we are on the third level, which is basically what we have been um, brought to by life in these last years. So, okay, let's find the uniqueness. Okay, who I am exactly, da 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 da. And then the fourth level is life. So imagine imagine this like a water how do you say recipient where you put the flowers.
Container, a flower pot.
Flower pot, okay, made of glass. Okay, so the first level, parents, couple, yourself, and life. And when you have done all these 3 levels with, of course, gained in this wider vision, then you can simply give to life without losing anything. So it's like a, like a toroid.
A toroid, yeah, torus, yes. Now you're
Yeah,
connected to the field because now you've integrated all those elements of yourself, and you kind of like found harmony with your family, with your couple, with yourself,
exactly.
and now you are, connecting to the world from a place of balance and
Eh,
harmony.
Exactly. So the funny thing, of course, is that he downloaded all this. It was organized. We also made a nice logo. By the way, I forgot to have one here, but I will send you. But then we were really tested, but really. So as a couple, like a okay, life said that, okay, now you have the material. Let's see if you.
Is it gonna
Oh,
work? Let's see. Let's find out.
my God.
Nice.
But so we had to many challenges, but we also had the opportunity to really to live the real forgiveness towards each other. Wow, something really fantastic. And now also we have changed place. We live, as I say, at the seaside because of circumstances. They brought us here, our parents, blah, blah, blah. And we are really ready to give all this from another place of emotional maturity now. So in all this, as I say, if I work personally, I work with people, with life alignment, or with the gene keys. As you said, I've translated. I've helped to translate the book. I've done the proofreading actually of the big book Le Chiavi Genetiche, which took many months because it's super big, but also 800 pages, but very nice. And now all this we can give it back to people. And in the beginning, when we came here, when the space called us here, because there's this house that needs to be looked after because Roberto's mother passed away, his father is not living here anymore. Anyway, so we had to come here, and we said, but what are we doing here? I mean, we are mountain people. Why are we come? Which is beautiful. I mean, we see a beauty. We have a beautiful view over the sea because we live a 250 meters higher. So we have a super view.
Wow.
But we didn't really understand in the beginning. And now we start to understand that we had to come here to have a special space because it's very transformative, this house. Rob's mother had, she passed away in 2019, but she was incredible. She had a lot of abilities that she didn't really develop because she was a bit afraid, but I'm sure she kind of left them here. And she
So there's a
passed,
lot of psychic energy there, ESP
but
stuff
good
there.
one, good one.
Good juju.
Good one.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. So people who come and stay here, they say, wow, it's very transformative. Also because she called, his mother called this house Shangri-La. I don't know if you know.
Yes.
This mythical town in
the mountains.
in the mountain where time stops. So Shangri-La. So we said, okay, we now we are starting to understand, and we are preparing. We also have a space where for guests where they are independent, but close to attached to this place. And so after a while, people who came here and stayed with us and said, hey, why don't you organize for one person or one couple at the time? They come and stay with us, with you. And so the name also come with us, simple, with us. So we put together what I can do. We eat together also with the person. And it's, of course, before the person comes, we have a Zoom to see what the issue she wants to, the subject, the issue that she wants to bring. And then we take care of the person and of the issue for 2 days, actually from Friday to Sunday or during the week, it doesn't matter. Roberto has also created a special massage technique with the music, really massage that really take care. So this is what we do in a natural way, simply being what we are. So without inventing anything particular. So we are that, and we like to take care of, in this case, one person, one couple, that they come and stay here with us, as I said.
You take care of there, you address an issue and you help them heal it, transmute it, and everything.
Also, and we laugh always. Also, it's not heaviness. So we
laugh.
Go for it.
Absolutely,
of course,
yes.
Of course. Laughing is super spiritual. Good laughing.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. It's the most spiritual. I believe it's the greatest prayer you can say every day, to laugh every day and eat good food.
Yes. Absolutely. So we put together all what we are. And as I was telling you before we went on this Zoom, I have, after many years of internal fights between the two parts of myself. One, Maria Teresa loves to take care of the house and the space and the tribe, to cook good food. The other, Maria Teresa, is super curious about interiority and wants to explore, and the gene keys. So after years and years of saying, am I this or am I that? In the end, I am both. So I like to call myself an enlightened housewife.
That's awesome. I love it. We should have put that in the introduction. She's
yeah. Now it's definitely like this. In Italian is casalinga illuminata.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
but I want to specify, not because I have understood everything. Enlightened just because when I do things with my hands, so without using the mind specifically, I receive a lot of understanding and downloads and fantastic things. So basically, I am both, So
Ordinariness, that's the
Yeah,
ordinariness you
yeah,
start download because you're in the flow, connected to
yeah,
the universe.
yeah.
Beautiful, Maria. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your great energy. This is, a gift to the world. Just joy. That's what the world needs, to have fun, light, connected, organic, like ordinary, but that beauty of life. I can totally feel that energy. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing with you. We're going to put all of those links on her page so that you can find Maria Teresa. And thank you for joining us today, Maria.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us today on this wonderful episode of the Pioneers of the Great Awakening. If you want to learn more about the podcast, you want to go to our homepage, journ.tv. That's JOURN.tv. That's the homepage of the podcast. And in there, you can find, we have two podcasts. It's the same podcast, but we have the audio version and the video audio version. This is the one that we have guests. This is the Pioneers of the Great Awakening. On the audio only podcast, we go in depth into our contemplation of the Gene Keys. We have over 800 episodes where we go in depth and go study and look into all of these Gene Keys. And you can connect to that. It's called Planet Homemaking, and you can find it all in journ.tv or on any podcast app out there, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, all of those you can find. Just look for Planet Homemaking and you'll get both. You'll get the audio of the Gene Keys and you'll get the audio version of these Pioneers of the Great Awakening. But you can also find the Pioneers of the Great Awakening on YouTube, Rumble, and journ.tv. And also on journ.tv at the bottom right corner of the screen, you'll see a support link. When you click on that, you'll find out all of our social media links. We're on LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, Truth Social. We are on Clubhouse, Telegram. All of those links are there. You can sign up to our email list. And if you want one-on-one help working with your Gene Keys, we have specific coaching programs. The links are there. If you are a visionary, a pioneer of the future, you got a vision that you want to anchor in this reality, you want to make it come true. Maybe you are a light worker. Maybe you see things that don't exist in this world, and your inner drive is telling you that you have to do them. You have to anchor them in this reality. We have a very specific coaching program for you called the Life Design Coaching Program, and you can find the link right there on that page. Also, for people who are stuck in the dark night of the soul, if you're really struggling with your transformation, we have a very specific coaching program for people who are really, really stuck and want to move through their coaching, through their dark night of the soul. And we have a coaching specific for that. On that page, at the bottom right corner of journ.tv, click on that support link. And you can find all of those links right there. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the Pioneers of the Great Awakening. I'm your host, Epiphanio, and we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.